I want to play you the first of these South Park clips and get you to react.
We want privacy! We want privacy!
Hey, thanks for having us on the show.
It's so awesome to be here. It's great.
This particular episode was quite scathing in the grains of truth that it held. You know, I'm not sure how the Sussexes are taking it. Obviously, it is a cartoon, but there's so many moments of truth in that episode that makes it so funny. The episode called what they were doing a worldwide privacy tour, which is obviously play on really what they're trying.
Well, I just think some people might say that your Instagram-loving wife actually doesn't want her privacy. How dare you, sir? My Instagram-loving wife has always wanted her privacy.
These two are not sincere people. They say that they want their privacy while going on every television show, writing books, doing 6 hours of Netflix. They're not very likable, and people are tired of them.
It seems like that lady is a temptress. She's a siren. She's lured him into the rocks.
But this has been Meghan Markle's MO from the beginning. She wants all of the privileges that go along with an identity, but she doesn't want any of the responsibility. She doesn't want to do any of the work. She wants the tiara. She doesn't want the public service.
Look at this town. There's just something about it. Oh, darling, I think this might be the place. You really think so? We can have a fresh start here.
This woman looks to me like a malignant narcissist.
It has been several months now since our beloved queen has died. All Canadians are finding it hard to go on. All Canadians, that is, except for our first guest, the prince and his wife. We want privacy! We want privacy!
You're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our prince. You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion, all right?
Oh my God, that hat. Oh God, he's so hot. Look at him. Isn't Prince Harry? I mean, she bagged a fox.
Yeah! It's not that pet
Leave us alone! Down with the monarchy! We deserve our privacy!
It started as just another episode of South Park, but what followed was a full-blown public meltdown. Meghan Markle, furious over her portrayal as a rampaging monster named Maxilla, didn't just take offense. She tried to silence the satire. But instead of burying the mockery, her reaction ignited a wildfire backlash, exposing cracks in the polished PR image she spent years building. This wasn't just about comedy. It became a cultural reckoning.
It's so quiet and empty here. If we moved her, then people would think we're really serious about wanting to be normal. It does seem perfect, doesn't it?
Yeah, the neighbors across the street are setting off fireworks and it's 10:30 at night.
Oh, is it the Prince of Canada and his wife who just want to be left alone?
Yes, they're being super loud and I'm trying to work on my brand. Oh, God damn it, now the prince is playing polo on the lawn.
The South Park episode in question pulled no punches. Maxilla, a barely veiled stand-in for Meghan, is a cartoon wrecking ball, loud, entitled, and constantly demanding attention. It's exaggerated, yes, but unmistakably pointed. The satire goes beyond cheap laughs, cutting straight into the heart of Meghan's public persona. Her curated brand of social justice warrior is recast as an attention-hungry diva obsessed with control and validation. And the worst part? The character resonated with millions.
These two are not sincere people. They say that they want their privacy while going on every television show, writing books, doing 6 hours of Netflix. They're not very likable, and people are tired of them.
They're putting themselves on the world stage using expensive PR while demanding privacy, while writing books, while being on Oprah that had 50 million viewers. People who want privacy don't do that. You live your life quietly in privacy. So it's such hypocrisy. I think they did a brilliant job.
What matters is what we have on the inside.
They nailed it. They nailed it.
I think he goes on to say, so you wrote a book talking about your family. Does that not make you a journalist too? And then they kind of stare at each other like dumbfounded.
So you hate journalists? That's right. And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. Right. So you're a journalist.
They say they hate journalists. Harry hates journalists. But to pay PR who say what you want and who, shape social perception in your favor while also disparaging and lying about others, thereby reaching their privacy. I think the whole, worldwide privacy tour is hysterical.
But what sent this episode into viral orbit wasn't a joke. It was the backlash. Reports claim Meghan was livid behind the scenes, allegedly demanding the episode be pulled. Instead of brushing off the parody like most public figures might, she leaned in hard, trying to shut it down. That move backfired spectacularly. The attempt to silence only validated the cartoon's portrayal. Someone unable to handle criticism, even when wrapped in animation.
She's apparently spent days being upset and overwhelmed, according to sources, over this parody, which picks apart all of their publicity blitz while at the same time begging privacy.
Can we rally him up here and finally have our own privacy? My love, I will do anything for your privacy.
Irony didn't go unnoticed. In trying to control the narrative, Meghan only amplified it. Her reaction gave the episode a megaphone, bringing even more attention to the caricature she wanted to erase. And the louder her team pushed back, the more the public saw a pattern. Someone tightly wound in image management, desperately clinging to a version of events that no longer match public perception.
You've lived a life with the royal family, you've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Win.
Would you ever run for office?
No.
Never.
No.
Never.
Never. Oh my gosh, I work so hard and I appreciate what hard work looks like. I like working hard.
Well, according to their tax documents, they work 1 hour a week. And she wants money to just fall into her bank account with little to no effort.
It's not the first time Meghan's activism has been accused of being more optics than impact. South Park mocked it directly, painting her as a toxic chef cooking up chaos instead of change. It wasn't just satire, it was a reflection of broader criticism. Her Netflix projects, media appearances, and advocacy often feel overproduced and underwhelming. The Maxilla metaphor hit because it tapped into that truth. The performance was starting to show.
I nearly entered rehab yesterday. That is the biggest pile of crap I've ever seen on television in my life.
I can't take it anymore. Get out, get out, get out. Uncle, make it end. Make it end.
And behind the cartoon is a pattern that's hard to ignore. Meghan's history with the press is filled with lawsuits, censorship attempts, and headline-grabbing interviews. Whether it's trying to reshape her royal exit, framing the media as villains, or spinning her family fallout, it's all felt tightly managed, maybe too tightly. The South Park portrayal ripped through that polished exterior, suggesting what many have whispered for years. Meghan isn't just navigating fame.
You can't sue a cartoon. It's satire. It is what it is. South Park has done episodes on the royal family, on the royal wedding of Kate and William, for instance. So it's not something that they would be able to sue about. And I genuinely just don't believe it, really. The episode said they're very wealthy. He's been handed everything he has on a platter. You know, they're literal royals. They're living in a multi-million-pound house in Southern California. I mean, really, what grievances do you have that most people can relate with?
The more she tries to steer the story, the more the narrative slips away. Maxilla wasn't just a character. It was a cultural mirror, reflecting growing skepticism toward Meghan's victim narrative. Once seen as brave and bold, she's increasingly viewed as controlling, sensitive, and out of touch. And the Maxilla backlash put that shift under a microscope. For someone who champions authenticity, the reaction felt anything but.
This particular episode was quite scathing in the grains of truth that it held. You know, I'm not sure how the Sussexes are taking it. Obviously, it is a cartoon, but there's so many moments of truth in that episode that makes it so funny. The episode called what they were doing a worldwide privacy tour, which is obviously play on really what they're trying to do.
There's also a deeper issue, the clash between Meghan's demand for privacy and her constant media presence. South Park nailed that contradiction, depicting a character who pleads to be left alone while staging press stunts and public appearances. The satire cut so deep because it reflected a growing frustration. Meghan's desire to control every frame of her story is starting to wear thin. And when comedians point that out, her response isn't laughter, it's outrage.
The couple have been begging for privacy, and South Park has done a parody of this, and apparently it has really upset Meghan Markle.
Isn't it true, sir, that your questionable wife has her own TV show and hangs out with celebrities and does fashion magazines? What are you suggesting?
That outrage speaks volumes. Trey Parker and Matt Stone didn't apologize. They didn't flinch. Their silence sent a clear message. Satire is fair game, even when it stings. Meghan's furious attempt to censor the episode didn't just fail. It underlined exactly what South Park mocked. In trying to control the narrative, she exposed her own vulnerability. The message was clear. If you step into the public spotlight, especially on your own terms, you don't get to opt out when the tone changes.
Harry last year wrote a book called Spare, which smashed his brother, his father, his mother-in-law, his sister-in-law, the media, and many, many others in one giant whinge.
It was just sterile and awful, and I hate her. I'm so sorry, I really do.
Now, I don't know what he and his wife expected from this. Was it pity, sympathy at their hard life, or just the millions of dollars they've earned from betraying Harry's family?
And then there's the fallout. Meghan's brand, once a mix of royalty, rebellion, and righteousness, is now clouded by controversy. Critics see Maxilla not as fiction, but as an exaggerated reflection of her public missteps, failed deals, broken relationships, and conflicting narratives. The satire stitched it all together in one blistering package. And the public? They didn't just laugh, they nodded.
There's a conversation with you,
with Harry,
about how dark your baby is going to be?
Potentially, and what that would mean or look like.
My wife is not visibly black, but that's who she is. The way that they speak about her and the way they treat her is incredibly relatable to everybody else of color.
Who just went off on these, what did she call them? Queen's husband was dying, and she went on Oprah and suggested one or both of them are raging racists. She couldn't have cared less. She doesn't care about anyone other than herself, and I include Harry in that. She cares about her image. That's why she's there.
More damaging than any joke was how real it felt. That's the danger of satire. It only lands when the audience already suspects the punchline. And Meghan's reaction confirmed the suspicion. The harder she fought it, the more the portrayal stuck. She didn't laugh it off or reclaim the moment. She tried to erase it, and in doing so, solidified it.
Meghan, it's just like we see right through your fake behavior, and no amount of saying how kind you are is going to make people think, oh, isn't she so kind? All of the nasty things you have done, we know.
What started as a cartoon skit became a flashpoint, a symbol of celebrity spiraling into a storm of her own making. The episode dragged Meghan back into the very media frenzy she claims to despise, and the fallout is rewriting how the public sees her, not as a misunderstood icon, but as a figure obsessed with image, allergic to critique, and trapped in a narrative she can no longer control.
I've read Spare. I've read it cover to cover. They are a damaged couple. They are people in trauma.
Oh, we want our privacy and safety, but we'll go be at Beyonce concerts and do whatever we want. Oh, look at him. It's my fox. Oh, yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
Maxilla moment will be remembered not just for its sharp writing, but for what it revealed. The satire cut through the curated persona and laid bare the contradiction of a woman demanding the freedom to speak her truth while punishing anyone who dares to challenge it. This wasn't a PR stumble. It was a full-blown unraveling.
If you think about it, Meghan got everything she wanted. She got the husband, she got the children, she got the HRA, she got everything that allowed her to rise up and have that global recognition that we know how badly she wanted that.
Meghan ruined Harry. Now that the once carefree, fun-loving prince has turned into a miserable moaner, lashing out from the depths of his paranoia at a world he thinks is conspiring against him.
In the end, Meghan's furious attempt to bury South Park's roast didn't just fail. It supercharged the mockery. The louder she pushed back, the more she proved the parody right. And as the backlash continues, one question hangs in the air. If she can't take a joke, how could she survive the reality of public life? The Maxilla episode didn't destroy Meghan's image. It exposed what was already cracking. And now that the mask is slipping, the public is watching every move, waiting to see if she'll finally step out of the spotlight or double down on the illusion